morning, Secretary. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum. The attendance of the following: Attorney Mark Canis Palomar, Chairperson; Laila L. Martinez, Vice Chairperson at Atty. Karen Su; Attorney Maria Asuncion Yasmin de los Santos, Regular Member; Engineer Natalia, Regular Member at Atty. Karen Su; Mr. Rafael P. Obadilla, Regular Member at Atty. Karen Su; Attorney Rafael L. Kaaman, Regular Member. We also have representatives from DAVAO, DAVAO, Port Manager Anna G. Avila, attending Karen Su, and from PMO Manay Marats, representing PM Eduardo Flores, Mr. Herbert M. Navarro, attending Karen Su. We have an attendance from the members of the Secretariat and members of the Technical Working Group. On the part of the respective leaders, we have representatives from Philippine Port Services Incorporated, Asian Terminals Incorporated, Lieutenant Infrastructure Corporation, and International Container Terminal Services Incorporated on the attending Karen Su. We also have an attendance observer, Mr. Engineer Joseph Panina.
Thank you. We're going to share the question with some more of PTMC number 009-2022 comes to order. Secretary, please schedule. Thank you, Mr. Fernandez.
We have 4 items in our agenda to share. First, with the approval of minutes of the previous BAC meetings, HO-BAC-PTMC numbers 007-2022 and 008-2022, all dated April 11, 2022. Next is the previous conference with the Port of Sasak, Davao. And next is the evaluation report of the Port Terminal Management Contract for Port of Caribbean from Bangladesh work. Lastly, for the other matters, presentation and approval of the terms of reference and Port Terminal Management Contract for Port of Iloilo Commercial Port Complex.
Thank you. If objection, let's proceed to the first item on the agenda, the approval of the minutes of the previous BAC meeting.
Just want to clarify, the minutes of the previous meeting for 11 p.m. 5, item 17, statement clear with the variable fee. Just want to correct the statement. The variable fee will not go with a percentage of the variable fee. The portion of that will go to
Is it the variable fee the percentage of PPA. Kasi yung kinolekta nila is the rate. Pero it will be computed based on variable fee. The 50%, which is 50%, which goes to PPA. 60% which goes to PPA. So the answer is the variable fee will go to PPA. But when okay, the variable fee, which is 60% of the rate of those beyond the computed possessions, will go to PPA.
The chair, the question is, would the variable fee go to PPA? The answer is yes. So it's also passing the idea that all the variables will go to
Yes, that's correct. Because what people, okay, let's say it's example of a rate. Stevedoring. The stevedoring rate is 100. If we compute it via variable fee, it's 60%. That goes to PPA. 60%, the variable fee is 60%. And that goes to PPA. Hindi naman sinasabi natin na buong stevedoring amount goes to the PPA. What we say is the variable fee is PPA.
the variable fee kasi would over those revenues from items not included in the computation but fixed fee.
Yes.
So all others will be subject to variable fee and to the threshold.
Yes.
Okay. So all of that will not go to pay only a percentage of that.
Yes, but when we're talking about the variable fee, we're already talking about the percentage. Because the guideline sets the variable fee as a percentage of the amount no kinolekta nila. Yun yung government share. We call it the variable fee. Kasi what they collect, they don't collect the variable fee. They collect stevedoring. Now, if the stevedoring rate is beyond the projection, beyond 10% of the projection, we collect a variable fee from that amount.
That's worded.
We can clarify that a definition of the variable fee. So the variable fee is the percentage, will be collected from first collections which were not considered when computing the concession fee, and those which were considered but is 10% beyond the projection made by the technical working group. Kasi the concessionaire will not collect a variable fee. They will collect the normal rates. Ang share natin is the variable fee. So all of it goes to PPA.
Only a portion of the variable fee will.
No, because the variable fee is already a portion of what was collected.
What is the exact wording? The POR, a variable fee, in addition to the minimum concession fee, a variable fee should be related to the people under the following circumstances. After traffic volume exceeded the volume, a variable fee equivalent to 60%
Start pala na concession plus the variable fee. So it all goes to PPA, and then the other paragraph computes the variable fee as a percentage of what they collected. So as such, the entire variable fee goes to PPA.
portion of the variable
Hindi. A portion of what was collected, which is called the variable fee, will go to PPA. So variable fee ang makukuha natin. Concession fee and plus variable fee.
But the concessionaire or the PTMO still gets a portion of the variable.
No. It's not called variable fee. It's stevedoring. And then the portion which we get, which is beyond the computed, is called the variable fee. Kasi wala namang rate na kukolekta sila na called variable fee. ang tinatawag nating variable fee is the share natin for those services which were not part of the PTMC and for those na lumampas sa projection. That's called variable fee. So, ang nakukuha ng PPA dito is the concession fee plus the variable fee. The entire variable fee, which is a portion of what they collected goes to PPA. So it's correct to say that only a portion of the variable fee goes to PPA. The entire variable fee goes to PPA, which is a portion of what they collected.
Parang ano naman nomenclature lang po yung variable.
Nomenclature
Nomenclature lang
natin
po
at
yung chapter, parang term lang siya nung doon sa additional revenue na makukuha ng PPA. Additional sales.
The PPA is called
From the
variable
revenue,
fees.
from the revenue collected by yung tawag mo dun sa buong CBR is revenue.
No. Kasi yung natira, once we get the variable fee is theirs. Yung share natin is called the variable fee. Kasi wala namang resibo na variable fee ang kinolekta nila tapos maghahatian natin. What we're saying is, what is beyond what was projected during the computation of the concession fee will go to PPA and it is called variable fee. And that is called variable fee. Yung napupunta natin. Yes, it will go to PPA. Yes. Yun na yung portion. Hindi natin maghahatian ng variable fee. Okay. The income which they received, which was not contemplated when they computed the concession fee, is 100. Under our computation, 60% of that goes to PPA, and that is called the variable fee. The 40%, yun yung natira sa kanila. Walang term yun. So the entire variable fee goes to PPA. Kasi wala naman silang kinokolekta na tinatawag na variable fee na paghatian natin. Ang tinatawag natin variable fee is our portion of the income which was received by the concessionaire, which was not contemplated when they computed the concession fee. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the meeting for PTMC number 007/2022, taken on April 11, 2022, and also for PTMC 008/2022, also taken on April 11, 2022.
Yes, and second, you do the necessary classification vector. During that, with the PTMC number 007/2022 and 008/2022, both held as April 11, 2022, but if they approve that the data was put into the next item on our agenda, it will be transferred to the portal.
For the Portable Management Contract for the Portal Chapter, DAVAO. The project was advertised last April 15, 2022 in the Manila Times and was posted on the PPA website and reference videos placed in the PPA premises. The concession period for the project shall be 15 years with a minimum concession fee of 8,620 years. The concession period shall be for 20 years with a minimum concession fee of 8,676,876,529 pesos and 97 centavos exclusive of all taxes. May we now ask from the representative of Philippine Sport Services Incorporated if they have questions regarding the document.
Okay. PBS board.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Can you turn on your camera?
To be honest, we can hardly hear you. No?
We're asking for questions regarding the keyword. The initial discussion a while ago was regarding the previous minutes for so the back matter.
Yeah, no questions so far.
Okay, thank you.
We will now call the representatives from Asian Terminals Incorporated. If they have questions regarding the meeting notes.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chair. Is this the part where we are able to ask questions about the terms of reference?
Yes, this is the part where you can ask questions.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And well, some of the questions we have would be with regards the investment requirement, which is in 3.3 of the terms of reference. We're asking, what are the minimum technical specifications with regards to expansion of berths 3 to 5, as well as the minimal technical specifications for the wave bridges at the gate complex, as well as the SS rail cranes at berths 1 and 2?
Pero can you answer that now? But for the information of all bidders, we will be issuing a bid bulletin, particularly to list the requirements, the technical specifications regarding the port development plan. But PMO, can you answer that now? Or maglalabas na lang sa bid bulletin na lang? PMO? PMO, do you have the minimum technical specifications for the items under the port development plan?
Good morning, Chair,
Yes.
the other BAC members, and the attendees. So this is from PIMO DAVAO. So with regards to the specifications that we provided, if we look at the ship-to-shore crane at the apron, that was actually designed to a post-Panamax vessel. So the ship-to-shore crane can handle a post-Panamax vessel. So that is actually the design also. We agreed based on the ongoing construction in DAVAO implemented by head office. Okay. For the wave bridge, we don't provide actually the generic, no? We don't provide the generic, but on that note, we had to ensure that it can actually carry a 40-footer van that is actually loaded, including also of the what you call the materials involved. And on that note also, that is actually a digital one, that anything that will step on that wave bridge, the automatic, the weight of the total value. So in order to determine the weight of the container van, we simply deduct the weight of the vehicle or the trailer. So for the RTG, these are actually normal RTG that we are actually using in South Harbor, ATI. So I think everybody knows that one. So 4+1. So that is actually the specifications that we have. So that is everybody as far as this ATI, CTSs know that kind of specs. Now for the mobile harbor crane that we have introduced, what we're trying to observe that it can only around 20 to 23 boxes an hour. That's their capacity. So whatever brand that you have, it will be up to the bidder. So of course we are not authorized to provide the brand. That's not part of this terms of preference. Now for the expansion, of course the bidder would like to have. Our ongoing today is actually implemented by head office is a reclaim component. So that is around more or less more than 200 meters. That is, if we look at the side, these are actually confined by a tubular piles. So these are actually common design. So a tubular piles that used to confine that area, then place some filling materials, then provide some anchor. So these are normal design that can actually be undertaken by an engineer. So on that note, from 3 to 5, so these are actually the same specifications that we would like to introduce to the bidder. So the same condition. What we're trying also to the post-Panamax vessel, that is the maximum that the capacity of the port can handle. So anything greater than post-Panamax is not already considered here, only post-Panamax. Now for, if the bidder would like to ask for maybe sources of materials for peeling and others, we have a lot in DAVAO Oriental. There are actually rivers within the side of the port. Then just like what the ongoing project here, these are actually from DAVAO Oriental, from Lupon, from Mineroso. So that can actually, no peeling materials from DAVAO City, not allowed. So these are all from DAVAO Oriental. So also for construction, we don't have any problem as far as sources, cement, sand, and gravel. This can actually be sourced anytime. So these are actually the big ticket project that the bidder can introduce. And it will be their way of how they are going to perform the project economically. So those are our technical specs and other for this project, sir. So any question from the bidder, we hope we will still address the same. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Did you get that? A clearer response will be in the form of a supplemental disclosure where we will put all those details so they can form part of the terms of reference.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you for that. If also we can get if the PMO DAVAO can send the technical details of the ongoing construction in berths 1 and 2. Our understanding is the expansion of berths 3 to 5 would be in the similar fashion technically with the ongoing work being done. So parang dapat pareho sila. That's the technical presumption we're working on. Is that correct?
Is their presumption correct? Yung ginagawa sa berth 1 and 2, yun din ang gagayahin sa 3 to 5.
Hello, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So if the bidder would like to get the technical specification, since this is actually designed by Port Planning and Design Department, our office in head office can provide the same. Yes, sir.
Okay, what question first? Yung ginagawa ba ngayon sa berths 1 and 2, yan din ba ang concept na gagawing expansion sa berths 3 to 5? Kasi kung hindi relevant kung ano yung ginagawa ngayon. So first question, yung ginawa yung port development plan, Yun ba, ginaya nyo lang ba yung ginagawa sa birth 1 and 2 sa 3 to 5?
Yes, sir. Because that will be difficult if they will have the same concept, but not different concept. Because
correct.
all the, yeah,
Okay.
because as,
With regards that we will coordinate and considering that the details will be similar sa 3 to 5, that will be for part of the bid bulletin, correct? Engineering. PNLs.
sa Chela?
PNLs, can you hear me?
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Kung parehas yung, yung design na gagamitin natin from birth 3 to 5 doon sa proposed, we will provide the design, the plan. We will just wait for the formal letter request from API.
Yeah, we should considering that was raised during the pre-bid conference, during the pre-bid conference, we don't need a formal request. So, i-request nila dito sa pre-bid conference. Pero, ang clarify ko lang, considering na pareho yun, will that form part of our bid bulletin? Yung specs na yun? Or masyadong detalyado yun para sa bid bulletin natin?
So, hindi masyadong clear yung Joven, Joven is there?
Yung specs na, well, basically yung bill of partition is yung program of works na ginagawa sa 1 and 2, isasama ba natin yan sa bid bulletin for the port development plan with regards to the expansion of works 3 to 5? Or dapat lang generic technical specs lang yung ibibigay natin kasi yung sa isa, ibigay out natin yung talaga papagawa natin. So, may leeway ba sila regarding yung how to do it? Or tayo na mag-provide ng requirements na yun?
Mr. Chair, tayo mag-provide ng requirement. We'll based on the...
Okay. Sige. ADI, did you get that?
Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you. We look forward to that. And okay, the other question we have then is in 3.3, there's the construction of the STS rail lanes at berths 1 and 2 will also stretch all the way to 3 to 5. So we presume also that the specifications on the rail gauges will be provided by the PPA. The distance between rails, the load bearing capacities, and all of that.
PMO. Or, sir, if provided that in detail,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we will provide the design requirements.
okay. So, ADI, you provided the indication.
All right, thank you. With regards now to item C, which is the construction of shore power facility at berths 1 to 5 and then berths 6 to 10. We presume that the rationale here is that the port shall be providing shore power facilities to the vessels that are docking at Port of Davao. Is that the intention?
PMO.
Yes, sir. That's the intention.
And yeah, which then we then ask, because when we review the tariff, there's no tariff for the provision of power. So what will be the governing tariff? And if this is going to be mandatory to all ships docking at the port?
I would say, sir, if the government will provide that shore power through this proponent, then it shall be mandatory for the reason of environmental issues that we intend to implement in Davao.
Pero sa dalit, tanongin natin yung in-charge na tariff. Apply. Can you hear me? Okay, the question is, may nakalagay dito as part of the requirement for the port development plan, the construction of shore power facility, which is the concept is magpo-provide tayo ng kuryente sa mga barko. However, wala daw tariff yung provision na yan.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. So, sir, consistent with our policy in the Tier 3 tariff, sir, we have the Tier 2, so to be published. So, as approved by the board, there's no tariff for power. So, we have to, based on the guidelines, existing guidelines for tariff, sir, they have to request for approval for the tariff, sir, for the power.
Okay, so basically, you're requiring them to construct a shore power facility, and then they will have to request for a tariff.
Yes, sir.
Hindi. Lighting ba? Pagsasaksakan kapag naka-burn. Clear lighting.
Meron pong lyric na sir lighting.
Ha?
Merong leak na sir lighting sa
Walang rate yung clear lighting. Sa tier 2?
Only for foreign, sir. Pero I think dun po sa, Sir Ian, are you referring to the tariff? Because under Tier 2 tariff, we have two categories for domestic and foreign. For foreign tariff for Tier 2, I think there is a tariff for pier lighting.
Okay. Yes, there is fee for night operation from 1,800 hours to 1,600 hours, which is per vessel 32,000. 32,000. $32. Okay, $32. So yun. ATI, may rate, carries for foreign vessels.
Okay. So that's the, wait, pier lighting night operation. Is that a pier lighting tariff, Ma'am Lai?
Yes,
90 pesos per hour. Because we usually apply that here in South, but that's to really light up the pier. I mean, literally, it's the pier lighting service that is required by the PPA. Kasi pag gabi, we have to light up the area. Iba yung shore reception, that's the part where the ship plugs in so that it saves on bunker fuel. Because then it will power the vessel using onshore facilities for power. But we've never had that rate in South because, well, we never had those facilities here in the Port of Manila.
Okay, sir, if that will be different, sir, that will form part, the operator or whoever is the winning bidder will have to request for a tariff for that particular, for that purpose, sir. Because in that tariff, foreign tariff, under Tier 2, if it is only used for the lighting of the pier, then it will not be used as the rate for what you have said, sir. So another tariff will be approved per the PTMO's request.
Pero wala tayong rate, pero i-require natin sila kukuha na.
Dapat meron
Hindi. Ganun. Dapat ba na hindi natin isama para mag-collect na talaga? Tayo lang gagawa, PPA na lang. Kasi parang hirap na i-obligate na sila gumawa ng wala ka naman siguro income sila. Yun nga. Hindi. So, yun nga, ma-assess nila kung okay, API as of now, walang rate provided for under the tariff, approved tariff for the use of electricity by the vessel. However, the BAC will be discussing this requirement with the DAVAO later on. So it will be part of the amendment of the Port Development Plan.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. On item F, where there are the demolition of the plant quarantine services and Bureau of Animal Quarantine facilities, will the PTMO be required to build replacement facilities for them, or i-demolish lang? We don't need to worry about where they will relocate from where they are.
DAVAO, anong mangyayari sa plant quarantine services and Bureau of Animal Quarantine Industry once masira nila yung, demolish nila yung facilities niya? Problemahin pa nila yun? DAVAO, correct ba? Considering na wala naman nakalagay dito na may kailangan silang i-construct offices for the EQS and EAI, hindi na nila obligation yun. The only reason bakit kailangan nila i-demolish is because i-upgrade nila yung backup area and nilalagay yung RTG crane lane. Correct?
Yes, sir. But as far as that costing is concerned, hindi po kasali yung relocation ng building. What we're trying to do is that let GAA do that. We have General Appropriation Act na pwede nilang gamitin o mag-request sila because this is actually a government project and they are, yeah.
So, quick answer. You only need to demolish it. You don't need to worry about the replacement office. Correct, DAVAO?
Yes, sir. That's the obligation of the PMO. We will negotiate with the Bureau of Plant Quarantine.
ADI, you don't need to worry about the replacement office.
All right. Okay. Thank you. In letter J, provision of mobile harbors crane. Are we talking about a rail-mounted harbor crane or yung rolling type? Kasi then that would
rolling
mean a different.
Lang, sir.
Rolling type lang. Okay.
Rolling type, may rubber tire. Then you can actually there's a hydraulic. That
all right.
Okay. Can.
Okay. In item C, maintenance of PPA-owned and built equipment and infrastructure. Do we have an inventory of these assets that are subject of handover, and what are their current asset life or its condition, para we can then assess the required maintenance of PPA-owned and built equipment?
Yeah.
As far as those assets are concerned, these are actually part of the, we have that in our financial statement. So ilan ang mga number of years dyan. But if the contractor would like to assist that, it is better that they have an ocular inspection. So
okay. All right.
They have engineers to do that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, on the criteria for award, it says that the PTMC shall be awarded solely based on the minimum concession fee proposal. The question we have would be, wouldn't the PTMC also be, or our criteria would be based on the technical proposals for the improvements introduced in the investment requirement? I mean, in terms of whether a proposal is, let's say, technically more superior, whilst the bid concession fee may be lower, as opposed to another bidder who has a, say, minimum technical specification lang, pero mataas yung bid concession fee. So what would be the point system for that?
ADI, the BAC is operating under the guidelines provided, approved by the board and published under the Port Terminal Management Framework. Under the Port Terminal Management Framework, walang nakalagay na additional points. And as particularly mentioned in the guidelines in Article 2, Section 12, fourth paragraph, second sentence, the bidder may submit a bid which provides for superior specifications and or better terms and conditions to the authority. However, these shall not be given any bonus, credit, or premium in the bid provision. So we will only base it on the concession fee.
Okay, noted, Mr. Chair. Okay, on the okay. Yes, on the revenue streams, what is revenue streams that were used to determine the minimum concession fee. Can we get a copy, or can we get a copy of the statement of PMO DAVAO in terms of what are these revenue streams, so that we also know what would be those revenue streams that will be later on introduced that is now subject of a 60% PPA share. Like, for instance, with the discussion earlier on the power or shore reception, since walang tariff yan, so obviously hindi yan contemplated in the computation of the minimum concession fee. So then if suddenly meron ng tariff na ma-introduce, tapos magpo-provide ng shore reception service ang port operator, I mean, from the first hour onwards, 60% then goes to the PPA, which will then make it quite not viable. Not unless we just gross up everything by 60% to account for that tax that is due to the PPA. I mean, if that's so. Hello, yes?
We will give you the details.
All right, okay, thank you.
Okay, PMO and PMSD regarding that.
Yes, that's all for now. And we still get the chance to submit additional queries. Is that still possible, Mr. Chair?
Secretary.
Sir Chair, the last day for submission of written queries is April 27, 2022, not later than 5 p.m. However, we will only be responding in writing to bidders of urgent bid documents.
Okay, is that clear again?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we also request, can you send higher resolution of the annexes so we can identify the blocks, the diagrams, and all the rest of it?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Secretary.
And we will ask the representative from UDENA Infrastructure Corporation if they have questions regarding the bid documents.
UDENA.
Hello.
UDENA.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Can you turn on your camera?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm only connected to audio right now.
Okay. You are, for the record.
This is Vilma Belches of Udena Infrastructure. We just have a question, sir. Is it still possible for bidders to propose changes in the development plan, like in the timing, for example, if this will result to the same KPIs, or is the development plan already set?
Okay. You can request for changes. However, it is up to the BAC to determine whether or not to accept the changes. Should the BAC decide to accept the changes, a bid bulletin will be issued. If the changes are not accepted, what was issued and the DOR will be the one you need to comply with.
Okay, sir. Okay, copy. Thank you.
Any other questions? then any other questions?
Well, just yes. For now, sir, none. But we will be submitting further clarifications. We'll submit a written request for clarifications.
Okay, once again, the deadline for submission of written queries is April 27, 2022 by 5 p.m. And the backend will respond to queries. It can only respond directly to queries made by bidders who have already purchased the dogs. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dyer.
We now ask for the representatives of International Container Terminal Services Incorporated if they have questions regarding the data.
ICTSI. ICTSI. ICTSI, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good morning. Can you turn on your camera? Okay, good morning. ICTSI. 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 Can you hear me? ICTSI, maghintay na rin. Meron ka ba other interested users? Ay, hindi ulit. Okay. Sige, patawarin. ICTSI.
No question.
ICTSI, any questions? Can you hear me? No question? Okay, so ICTSI has notified the Secretariat that they have no questions at this time. Secretariat, any reminder?
For all the bidders, please be reminded that joint ventures who wish to purchase joint bid documents must present the joint venture agreement or duly notarized statements from potential joint venture partners and the letter of intent. Otherwise, each potential joint venture partner must purchase the bid document separately. Also, each partner of the joint venture shall submit the legal and financial eligibility forms as required under DAVAO number 2018 for determining compliance with the technical and financial eligibility requirements. The satisfaction of one of the joint venture partner or by the joint venture partners level senior collectively shall be considered sufficient. As per the requirement on PA accreditation, the bidder must submit its valid PA certificate of accreditation for port terminal services. Otherwise, the bidder must present all of the following PA certificate accreditations: cargo handling, PTB operations, and rural operations. Prospective bidder must not engage in any business activity, whether primarily or otherwise, which will prevent it from properly and sufficiently discharging its contractual obligations under any port terminal management contract to be awarded. This prohibition shall cover entities engaged in maritime transportation. For the form of bid security, it may be in the form of cash, cashier's check, or manager's check, bank draft, or guarantee, or local letter of credit issued by the personal or commercial bank, or to be fund with callable mathematics issued by the GMI or PPA credit insurance company.
By the way. So with regards to bid security, considering that it's the first time that we bid out a tier 2 where there is a concession fee and a port development requirement, the computation of the bid security will be based on computing the minimum concession fee and the amount of the port development. Okay? For information of bidders.
For the requirement on bookbinding, the original and all copies of the bid shall be properly book-bound, hardbound, chronologically paged, and properly labeled with index tab. All pages must be paged together. Omnibus sworn statement. In case the bidder is a corporation, bidder should submit an original duly signed and notarized omnibus sworn statement with attached secretary certificate showing that the client possesses the authority to submit the bid represent the corporation and sign the contract. There are minimum standard facilities that need to be maintained in the PTBs as provided under PBA guidelines. Should there be a need to get a copy of such guidelines, please coordinate with the secretariat. For the relevant dates of the bidding, the deadline for submission of bids is on May 5, 2022 at 9 a.m. here at the 7th floor conference room, PTA head office. The opening of bids is also on May 5, 2022 at 10 a.m. here at the 7th floor conference room head office. Only one representative per bidder will be allowed to attend the opening of bids on site. Such representative must present a rack circle with poster. That is all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thus ends the previous conference for the Port of Santa Davao. Prospective bidders are now excused. Okay. Okay, fine. DAVAO Davao, thank you. You are excused. Ay, sandali. Ay, sandali. Okay. DAVAO Davao. Paano to?